record this so that we can share it with the people that didn't make it later.
So what do I have to do if they come up there? I have to.
So this is the chat. This is where everybody will be able to type their questions in. And if somebody is coming, it's right here. Where it says chat.
Will it come up with me typing it?
No, usually it doesn't. Usually it like flashes or a little like thing comes up. But and then if people are coming in the waiting room, just accept them. Like this one right here. Hi everyone, we're gonna give everyone just a few more minutes to get going. My mom's not a Zoom professional, so I gotta give her the quick lowdown. But as you're coming in, we cannot hear you. Hopefully you can hear me. As you see, I've got this funny little workout wireless thing. We've got a lot of background noise here in the studio, and there's no way to turn it down. So we find that if I've got this, then hopefully the audio kind of connects with this a little bit more than the background noise, and we found that people can mostly hear me. If you can't hear me, feel free to type something in the chat. Also, feel free to type in any questions that you have as we go along in the chat. We're gonna do a little glass blowing demo. Oh, thanks, it's good to know you can hear me, thanks. But we can see you can't hear you yet. It seems like other people can hear me right now, so maybe you gotta check your little audio settings. And if you don't know about Zoom, there's that little microphone on the bottom left corner, and you gotta go through and maybe select the same as your system for your speaker. Or if you have headphones, you can plug your headphones in. That always overtakes everything else. And we'll give everybody it's just about time right now. So we're gonna jump right in. If you missed the beginning, I will record this and I'll share a link so you can watch it later. So my name is Dominique, everyone calls me Dom, and this is my mom, Anne Marie. And we own Terrapin Glassblowing Studio here in Jaffrey, New Hampshire. I know that this is about Women's Month, so I am happy to answer any questions you may have that have to do with, oh, you can see me perfect. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have to do with us as women-owned businesses. Also, you know, owning our business in the middle of a pandemic is a struggle. But I am going to work while I talk. So you get to see a little glass, and I'm pretty good at multitasking. So go ahead and type any questions you have into here. My mom will be able to answer it. And we're gonna kind of work and talk at the same time. All right, so like I said, we're a glassblowing studio in Jaffrey, New Hampshire. And here you are in what we call the hot shop. We do two different types of glass. The hot shop, as of the pandemic, we've only been working ourselves because it does take physical blowing, as you're gonna see, and it's very close contact. We have been teaching in our other studio, the flame shop, because it's very stationary and everyone has their own hood under them, over them. So it works out quite well for us to be able to social distance and stay safe and thankfully open throughout this terrible mess that we're all going through. But here in the hot shop, we work on long rods. This one is hollow. Ooh, this one's hollow and clogged. But we either work on a hollow or a solid one, depending on what we're working on. If I was making a paperweight or a flower or a sun catcher, I'd be on a solid rod. Today I'm gonna make a floppy bowl. Because it's fast and it's fun and it's frilly, and that is blown, so I'm on a hollow rod. Once more, as I go through, feel free to ask any questions that come up, whether it's about glass blowing or personal. I do go live every week on Facebook, and before the pandemic, I used to do a lot of free demos in person, so I tend to answer a lot of questions as I go along. And we're gonna just keep accepting everybody in as we go. And once more, for all the new people, we can't hear you, but hopefully you can hear us. and type any questions you have in the chat, whether it's about glass or it's about personal stuff. Oh, what's the fuel for the furnace? Yes, we're gonna be right on it. Okay, so over here is my big furnace. This runs at 2,200 degrees and it runs all the time. Inside is a big ceramic pot that holds 145 pounds of melted clear glass. And it runs on propane and forced air. So if it were just running on propane, it wouldn't be hot enough. It'd be just like a normal campfire. In order to bring it up to that 2,000 degrees, we add air, which makes it a blue flame, and it gets it really hot, hotter than anything natural. So you see I collected some glass on the end of my blowpipe out of my furnace. And this glass may look orange to you, but that's just because it's really hot. While I was hanging out talking though, it got cold. So I'm gonna reheat it in my reheating furnace. Unlike my other furnace that stays on all the time, this furnace I turn on and off every working day. It's hotter than my regular furnace, but it only takes about an hour to get hot. Now I've got some more, just keep letting everybody in. I got some more heat in here. I'm gonna shape it on a table that's just beside the camera to organize it a smidge. And then I'm gonna blow my bubble. So I forced some air into the end of the blowpipe and captured it with my thumb. As the air travels up the blowpipe, the heat causes it to expand, and I now have a hollow bubble in there. Hence the word glass blowing. I'm gonna turn this down just a smidge. Now this is how much glass one would use to make an ornament, something smaller. But we're gonna make something bigger. We're gonna make a floppy bowl because it's fun and it's brilliant, it's relatively fast. So in order to get more glass, I've gotta let this get cold. Notice the quotations. This is still maybe 1,500 degrees. I want it to get to be around 1,000. So I'm just hanging out. I call it hurry up and wait. But as it cools down, you can kind of see it's much more clear. If we were adding color, I would have added it right outside of the furnace. I'm gonna keep this one clear just so that I can recycle the glass. But color comes in the form of crushed up chunks of colored glass called frit, F-R-I-T, frit. And I would just simply roll in that color and heat it up, and it would become that color. Oh, my shop is a whole lot cleaner than Simon Pierce. I know. I've gotten the pleasure to work there though, and they have some really fancy equipment, so that's pretty fun. But it's also completely male dominated, so maybe that's saying something about how cleanly it is in there, right? But yeah, you guys are in Vermont, and there is a big glass factory there in Windsor called Simon Pierce. And they work in all clear, and they do some really beautiful work in a production style fashion. So I just went back in the furnace, completely wrapped clear glass around it, and you'll see I have a lot more material.
Somebody says that they used to work there too.
Oh, cool. Where did you work? In the gift shop? We're gonna turn it sideways so they can see the bench. And we're just wiggling you around. When I go live every week, typically I'm on my phone. Now you're on my fancy new MacBook Pro, just so that we can record this. So it's a little funny for us, but it's actually looking pretty clear. What I've got right here is a wood block made out of fruit wood, and it allows me to shape the glass. But once more, it's already cold. See how it's not really moving? I'm gonna heat it up and I'm gonna keep blowing it. So I'll be right back. I'm getting it hot in my reheating furnace.
Tell them I'm sorry about sticking my face in their camera.
Oh yeah, and my mom wants to apologize for sticking her face in the camera, but she is being our little moderator. She's able to read everything and let everybody in. Since the pandemic, we've been doing a lot of stuff like this. Before, we were open to the public and doing a lot of people time, and now we're learning about all the internet stuff. So I'm blowing into it, and you see it's getting bigger and bigger. And you can check out what we got right here. And welcome to all the new people. If you're just tuning in, my name is Dominique Casey, and we're here with my mom, Anne Marie. We own Terrapin Glassblowing Studio in Jaffrey, New Hampshire. We are a private glassblowing studio unless you scheduled an appointment to take a class with us, or we do have people come in and view our memorial options. Pre-COVID, we were open to the public all the time, doing demos and such. But as we all have to adapt, I'm sure that you feel the same way. We're learning how to do this virtual stuff. Now I got a blow hose so I can blow and continue inflating my glass. Meanwhile, I've got these pincers right here called jacks. Every once in a while, they may be sparking up. That's because we've rubbed wax on them so that they don't sound like nails on a chalkboard. And I'll show you what we got now. Now this will be the lip of the bowl. This will be where it sits on the table. And this will all make sense to you in a little while. Sorry about the muffledness. I got a blow hose in my mouth and a mask over my face, so I'm really multitasking. If you were talking to a traditional glass blower, instead of using a blow hose, they would have somebody on the end of the bench blowing into the blowpipe. Not very COVID friendly. So I just do it for myself. Now we got our dish, right? It's basically a big ball, kind of like a huge thick ornament. I'm just gonna flatten it and then put a puntee on that. So glass blowing in here is very much a team thing. Pre-COVID, my mom and I had a whole bunch of employees and we were busy all the time, so we didn't really get to work together that much. With COVID, now we had to cut down all of our expenses in order to survive, but it's given us a whole bunch of time to work together. So what I'm doing is communicating with her what I want to do and what step I'm on.
She wants to, somebody wants to know, which do you find more labor intensive, blowing or the handwork?
Blowing or the handwork? The handwork. Blowing is relatively easy. The handwork is very, very difficult. It's one of those things where when I'm working, oftentimes because I've been doing this for so long, everybody thinks I'm doing it perfect. I make a mistake with every step. So there's always something I wish I had done differently. For instance, this guy is slightly off center. And you can probably see it just a smidge on the camera, how the wall is moving up and down. And I've been doing this for 12 years. I touch glass every day. I always say at first your brain has to know what to do, then you spend the rest of your life having your hands learn what to do. So you want to come and hold this? I'm going to make what's called a puntee, so I'm going to wheel you all back. This works out pretty good. So my mom's babysitting my vessel. If it gets too cold, it's going to crack, so you want to flash. So she's flashing it in the heat to make sure it's staying warm, but she's not getting it so hot that it's moving around and losing my shape. Meanwhile, I've got a solid rod. I'm getting a little bit of glass on it from the furnace. And this teeny little baby bit of glass is going to support the weight of the dish for the entire time I work on it. Flash again, please. Flash. I'm making it a little pointy. Then I'm going to plop it on the bottom in the middle the best I can. And when you're looking at hand-blown glass, now you have an understanding of what that funny sharp spot on the bottom would be, right? That is a punty, or Italian word for pontil. And it's what allows us to flip off the blowpipe and open up the lip of the vessel. So you see I'm free. And I got a little hole. That will be the opening for our dish. Pretty cool, right? Now that does take a little while. In order to get it to crack off the blowpipe, I had to dump a bunch of water on the lip. Now I want the lip hot and moving so I can open it up. There's people trying to get in. I don't need anything, so you can just man the computer. No, on the camera.
I thought she meant the doorway.
If you have any questions, you can type them in right now because this is a slow moment.
She wants to know how hot the furnace is.
So the furnace in the middle of the room runs at 2,200 degrees, and I run it 24/7 for about 1.5 to 2 years. I don't bring it down at all. It takes a week and a half to get hot and a week and a half to get cold. So I'm out of work for almost a month anytime I have to bring it down. This furnace right here, I turn on and off every workday, but it runs around 2,400 degrees. But it only takes about an hour to get hot. You can come through if you want. You want to turn it? So I got it nice and hot. Now I've got my little tongies right here. And I'm going in and spinning. And we see we're opening it up. I won't paddle, that way they can see. There's another comment. I'm going to open it up one more time before the big spin. So the glass is already cold.
What is the energy source for the furnace?
We run it on propane and forced air. So propane would be like the heat of a normal campfire. Forced air makes it a blue flame and makes it really hot. There's another one.
Where do you get your glass pellets?
Our glass comes from a company in Washington State, but it originally comes from Germany. So it comes all around the world, pretty much backwards, I'd say, to us. All right, so we're ready for the fun part, okay? So we've got this, and I'm gonna spin it out. First, I'm gonna get it really, really hot, spinning really slow, and then I'll point the camera at you, but it does happen pretty quickly, so just stay on your toes. If you get glass really hot and spin fast, it opens. So that would be like a plate. Then if you hang it down, it closes again, giving it like a scallop pattern, which we call a flappy bowl. And this is my favorite thing to demo because it's fast and fun. When we used to have like Girl Scout troops in, they used to love it. So I got it really hot. I spin fast, see how it's like a plate. I hang it down and see how gravity pulls it down. And we got our dish. Pretty awesome, right? Now, if this glass cools down too quickly, it's going to break. I didn't save enough room in my kiln for something quite so large as this, which is why I made it in clear. And I'm going to put it away in the recycling so I can throw it back in the furnace. If I wanted to save it, I have to put it in a kiln that holds it at 960 degrees. And it takes about 16 hours to get something that's this thick down to room temperature at a rate that the glass won't fracture or break. So if I'm saving it, I put a spot of water on my punty, give it a tap, the vibration would break it free. Then I'd put some hefty gloves on and put it in a hot kiln over there. I'm gonna put this in my recycling bin where it'll explode into little pieces when it's ready. And then I'll be able to recycle all this material and use it for another piece later.
They want to know how heavy the blowpipe is with the glass on it.
Heavy? It's pretty darn heavy. So the flow cups are 5 feet long. I should remember this mathematical equation, but you're holding maybe 10, 15 pounds on the end of a 5-foot rod and still spinning. So the further away from the glass you are, the more it magnifies that weight, plus the spinning. It does end up being quite heavy. Any more questions? Oh, thanks, guys. Oh, hey. I love Chris and Cheryl Sherwin. They're some of my favorite people. I was going to mention that you should all go visit Chris. He is open to the public, and he runs his studio off the water. So that's pretty impressive. He's in Bellows Falls, and he's a real good friend. Anyone else have any questions? Thanks so much for tuning in to us. Yeah, thanks for joining. We got quite a good crowd over here. So what's my favorite thing to make? What I'm best at is what one would call Venetian style work, where they're hollow forms like blown vessels, and I strive to make things perfect. So I'm pretty good at hollow forms, pretty good at making things round and even. For fun, though, I often make critters like animals, chickens, things like that. Our business, as of right now, the thing that we decided we really wanted to focus on are memorials. So we do, when somebody's lost a loved one or a pet, we take a little bit of their ashes and we melt them into the glass. So with COVID, we had to really stop and think about what we wanted to spend our time doing and what we wanted to focus on. And that's what we came down to. It's so beautiful connecting with our customers and giving them a little bit of peace within grief. So that would be my other favorite. Oh, that's a good question. So I've been doing glass for 12 years. I've been pretty lucky within that time because I pretty much touch glass every single day. I am doing something with glass pretty much 7 days a week. So that's allowed me to expand my skills exponentially, but I haven't perfected my craft. I make a lot of errors. My errors have gotten more fine-tuned so that people that aren't me have trouble seeing and recognizing it, but I'm still a lifetime away from being perfect. Good questions. Do we have a website? Yes, our website is terrapinglass.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Terrapin Glassblowing Studio, or Instagram, Terrapin Glass. My name is Dominique Casey, so it's Caissie. I also run an artist page for myself on Facebook and Instagram, so you can kind of follow all the stuff we do. But your main source could be our main website, which is terrapinglass.com, Terrapin glass. Oh, perfect. Yep, you spelled it right. Yeah, terrapin, like the turtle. Yeah. And if you miss any part of this demo, like maybe you missed the beginning, or maybe you want to rewatch it, I'll upload this recording up on YouTube and send it over. That way you can watch it and you can kind of back up and move forward. Why are there not more women glass blowers? Why are there not more women in most trades, I think, is a question. We do pride ourselves in being women-owned and women-run. Obviously, we did have some male employees, but as of right now, we're completely women-run business, and it is a difficult world. We are looked beyond a lot. So I think it's just a challenge for all crafts is just kind of breaking that ceiling and getting in there. Do I have to wear eye protection like sunglasses? Yeah, I always wear my regular glasses when I'm in the studio, but if I'm doing things, I have these really style and flippy glasses that I wear too, so I can protect myself. These are like light welder shades. I just took them off for the demo because they're a little funny and I end up bonking them off my head. But as I'm doing things, I kind of flip them up and down depending on what's going on to protect the longevity of my eyes for sure. Awesome questions. Anybody else have any? And if you find you have questions, if you're watching this later, feel free to send us over an email. We're the best at email because we can follow that communication, but you can find our email through our website, send us over an email. We're happy to answer any questions or anything. We do teach classes and you're not super far away, so if you want to come and take a class, like I said, we don't teach in here with COVID. It's really up close and personal, but we do teach on the torch. And we've got like some straw classes, marble classes, pendant classes, bead classes, and it's really safe in there. We've got ventilation over everybody, so everybody's got their own hood and their own vent, and we've been able to run through COVID that way without any scares at all. So we've been really blessed. Oh, thank you. I'll take all those compliments. I appreciate it. And you guys have been a great crowd. It's nice to have interactive people. Anybody have anything else before we head on out? Well, please find us online. If you do any social media, check us out. We appreciate the support. If you are on Facebook or Instagram, we do go live at 3 o'clock every Wednesday. And today we're gonna make a little bunny and make a little egg and then make a glass basket and then put them all inside. So every Wednesday at 3 o'clock, I do a different silly little demo, and feel free to check that out. And if you're busy at 3 o'clock, I leave them up online, and I also put them up on YouTube later too, so you can check some more glass out today. Bye everyone, we're gonna sign out then.
Thank you.
Thank you.